thanks for tuning in. So this week we're talking about the 3 things you need to know about when you write your love letter to a selling party. So as a buyer in the Bay Area, we all know how competitive the Bay Area can be. And so when it comes to things beyond price, the smallest things can matter. So outside of like the technical stuff, the goal of a buyer's love letter to a seller is to build a connection beyond just what they may see on paper. This is a chance for the buying party to reach out to the seller and say, this is who I am, this is why I'm a good fit, and this is how I can be the best fit for you in the home. Tip number 1, when you're describing parts of the home to the seller, tell them how the part makes you feel. Don't just say the kitchen is nice. Say things like, being in the kitchen reminds me of my childhood, versus the tile in the kitchen is great. Right? The connection is very different, because if you're reaching out to a seller, they have memories in there. So your whole goal of saying that you like the feeling of the kitchen is to build that connection between your future, plans and ideas with their past memories. So that marriage comes together and they say, oh, this person thinks like me, I like them. Tip number 2, tell a story. So when you're engaging with the selling party, don't just say, this is who I am, I worked at this job, and blah, 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 blah. Weave them through a story about who you are and how you came to this house, right? So that's more important than just a bullet point resume, because we're not here to say, impress them and say, wow, this person is has a lot of accolades, man, I need to check out their LinkedIn. That's not the goal. The whole goal is to build a connection, right? So when you tell something to the seller in the terms of a story, it puts them in the passenger seat and not outside of the car, right? Because you want them to be in there with you and understanding why you've arrived at this home. Step number 3, add a picture, right? So oftentimes you want to add a picture so the seller can see who you are, right? This often allows them to build a connection because it takes the seller out of the contract and puts them into your letter. With the contract, it's so easy to get lost in the numbers and the contingencies and all the technical stuff of real estate and all the paperwork and this and that. But when you include a picture, it puts the seller next to you. It puts them at the table with you. When you're telling them your story about why this house is the best fit for you, the buyer, and why you are the best fit for their home, right? It makes them understand. They can visualize now you living in their home and them passing the torch on to you, right? So this allows them to connect everything together. All that you just wrote about in your story now comes together in a picture that takes them away from the contract and puts them, makes them your friend. And here's a bonus. In a competitive market, there's a good chance that the seller's looking at multiple offers. In this case, you want your letter to be short and concise, but still build a connection. So that's why you want to keep it short, because if the seller has to go through 10 offers, you don't want them to discard your whole letter because it was too long. For me, typically, I advise my clients to do it in double space, just to make sure we're hitting all the right points and we're being sweet, but not too long. So if you have any questions or any tips on writing a love letter to a seller or trying to find other ways to have a winning offer outside of price, please feel free to reach out, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.